Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Short Film Idea channel. My name is Chike Kamara, and right now I'm in the middle of a 10-day short film idea challenge. Sorry about that. A 10-day short film idea challenge where every day I come up with a short film idea and post it on YouTube, and I give you my source, my thoughts on the source, and then I give you the idea so you can see what my process is for coming up with short film ideas almost at will, and hopefully it's a process that you can use in your arsenal or put in your arsenal so that you can have a process you can go to come up with short film ideas. So let's get right into it. Today's day 7. All right, so I was listening to a podcast a few years ago, and there was a young man who had served between 8 and 10 years in prison for street crimes. And he got out and he became successful. He became a successful real estate entrepreneur. And I thought that was very interesting. Okay. So that was sort of parked in my mind. And then at the same time, I consider myself sort of a closet theologist. Like, I'm inspired by religion and the similarities between all religions. And I have a thing for saints. And I always wondered to myself, how does one become a saint? And what is the similarity between all saints? I'm just so inspired that these people basically gave themselves fully to humanity and became saints. Something that I do not think that I'm capable of doing at this point in my life, at least. So then when I heard his story, for some reason the word saint came up in my mind, and then thoughts started coming into my head. So it just came like thoughts and ideas started coming to my head, and then I was like, okay, what if this young man, while in prison, started to read and read and read, and then he started to get in religion, and let's say he was inspired by a particular saint that he read about, and what if he sort of went on this quest to become a saint? Let's just say he was kind of ignorant and not very, and I mean ignorant in a good way, which means ignorant enough to try to become a saint. What if that became his goal? When I get out of here, I'm going to change my life and I'm going to become a saint. Okay. And then I was like, that would be so interesting. Okay. So first of all, I have an interesting story, and I tell you, when I have an interesting sort of seed of an idea, the next thing I need to ascertain is can it be compelling? And then I said, yeah, it can be compelling, because you have this sort of tug of war between this young man in his street life and the horrible crimes that he did while in the street. And then you have the saintly life that he might be aiming for or inspired by. So that's a strong tug of war, a strong dichotomy, and that makes it compelling. That's a problem that can be discussed and hopefully solved on some level for the audience, which can make the story compelling. So yes, we have an interesting idea, seed of an idea. We have a compelling idea. Now I need to come up with an ending. And again, you have all of these disparate sort of ideas popping in your head and cinematic images, but you cannot make your idea finite until you know the ending. And if you can't put an ending on it, then it's going to be very difficult to sort of harness all of those disparate things into an idea that you can actually execute on. So I hope you understand what I'm saying there. Okay. So I was like, okay, let me come up with a few endings and see if I have something interesting there, and then I can go from there. Okay, so I was like, all right, so an ending could possibly be, and this is the one I chose, is um so I chose the fact that he gives up his quest to become a saint as my ending. But I'm actually going to have to, if I actually did this film, I want to have an actual physical action that shows that he gives up his quest. Because saying he gives up his quest, that's cool. We have an idea of what the ending is, but maybe he walks away, or maybe he burns pictures of things, or the journal he's kept or something is thrown into the river, and that signifies that he has totally given up his quest or whatever. Okay, so that's something else. But basically, he gives up his quest to become a saint. That is the ending that I came up with. Then I wrote out some beginnings, and I came up with a young man fresh off his 10-year prison bid, fresh off a 10-year prison bid, decides to try to become a saint. That's the beginning I came up with. And then I wrote some middles, like I wrote a few, and I came up with, for the middle, the young man gets into a disagreement with one of his street buddies, and a brutal, not a beautiful, a brutal confrontation ensues. He nearly kills the guy. All right, so that's my beginning and middle. All right, so I have the beginning, middle, and end. And so the idea I came up with is this. I even gave it a title. I don't usually do this, but this title I came up with, and it could always be changed or whatever. But The Saint, inspired by Saint Augustine, a young man fresh out of prison investigates what it takes to become a saint. Shortly thereafter, he decides to let go of his very bad past and devotes his life to become a saint, until a disagreement with one of his former street buddies escalates into a brutal fight over money. He nearly kills his ex-buddy. He gives up his quest to become a saint. So that is the idea that I came up with. All right, so there you go. So let me know what you think in the comments, and that is all for today. Tomorrow is day 8, and we'll see how that goes. But that was sort of my process with that. Okay. All right. Love you. See you tomorrow.